This is Joe narrating a PowerPoint on Civics and Government Lesson 1 on page 444 of the Kaplan book. This deals with the historic basis for the United States system. The United States is based on democratic principles. Democracy means rule by the people. This concept originated in Athens about 2,500 years ago. When the people voted for the laws directly. This is a scene from ancient Athens with the Acropolis, the building on the upper part. The ruins of Athens the ruins of the Acropolis still exist in Athens. In the United States, we vote for representatives who then represent us in Congress and in the executive branch. So it's not direct rule by the people, but we have what's called a representative democracy. We don't vote directly for the laws, we vote for representatives who then make the laws on our behalf. Another form of government is a monarchy. Mono means one, so there's one ruler, and this is usually an inherited leadership, whereas the king dies and his eldest son becomes the next king. This is the royal family of England. Queen Elizabeth sitting down in the yellow dress on the left. Another type of government, usually not an official type of government is an aristocracy, where a ruling elite controls the government. Often this ruling elite is based on wealth. Some people in the United States think that we have an aristocracy where the political donations of the rich give them more access and more power in controlling legislation. This cartoon kind of makes fun of the wealthy, where they're getting a bigger piece of the pie than the poor and the middle class. This is a scene from the storming of the Bastille, a prison in France in 1789. The French monarchy was overthrown by the people. For a few years, there was rule by a mob without any stable government. This can be called anarchy, where there is no effective leadership in the government. This is St. Peter's Square at the Vatican in Italy. The Vatican is its own country. It is effectively a theocracy, where the leader of the government is also the leader of the religion in that country. So the Vatican is a clear theocracy. Other countries are not quite so clear. This is a scene from Saudi Arabia and the Kaaba. Saudi Arabia is a monarchy but has strong religious influences in the government. This is a scene from the Western Wall in Jerusalem. Again, Israel is a democracy with a strong religious influence. In the United States, we're used to separation of church and state. In other countries, the majority religion and the government are intertwined to greater or lesser extents. For example, just look at the flags of different countries. The countries demarcated in blue on this world map have religious symbols in their national flag. It could be as simple as a cross marking their Christian background, or it could be a star and crescent noting their Islamic backgrounds. In England, there was a monarchy. The monarch usually has absolute power, but in 1215 in England, the nobility wrote up a charter called the Magna Carta, which means Great Charter, And this put some conditions on the king's power, so it allowed for review of king's rulings by the nobility. This is an actual facsimile of the Magna Carta, so it wasn't a whole big book of demands. It was just a one-page list of demands and restrictions on the king's power. The king did sign this in 1215. One of the powers of the monarch was to throw people in jail and leave them there without a trial. The Magna Carta put some restrictions on this, and this act was called the Habeas Corpus Act. It makes it a point that people who are put in jail have to come to trial at some point to determine their guilt or innocence. They can't just languish in jail without a trial. This habeas corpus condition is also in our United States Constitution in one of the amendments. This is the Parliament in England. The restrictions put on the king in 1215 by the Magna Carta gradually evolved over time to give more and more power to the people, and now England is a parliamentary democracy where the people elect representative leaders in the House of Lords and the House of Commons, and then the leading political party in Parliament then picks a head of state. The book on page 444 talks about the Bill of Rights, but we'll talk about that in another section. So that's it for Lesson 1, Civics and Government.